Wait a minute, this isn't a scheduled video day. What's up guys, my name's Connor, aka MrBowlerHat, and this is my vlog about the thing that I did at the weekend. This is basically my show and tell. At the weekend, I am an enormous tabletop role-playing nerd. If you couldn't already tell from the t-shirt and the tattoo and generally my behaviour, basically I am massively in love with tabletop role-playing as a concept. If you don't know what it is and you have never even heard of anything like Dungeons and Dragons before, then you are about to be vaguely enlightened. The concept of tabletop role-playing is basically, it's an exercise in collaborative storytelling, where one person says, I have a world and a story that I want to tell, and a bunch of other people go, well, I have a concept for an enormous edgelord who has magical superpowers and wants to save the world or something. And you all club together, and you basically make a story, and that's fascinating to me. I love it. It's incredible. It's just the greatest thing. If you've never watched an episode of the Nodcast, which is the University of Sheffield's Tabletop Role-Playing Society's podcast, which I am in, why I link it at literally the end of every single video I ever do, so go ahead and watch that if you haven't. But it's basically my main hobby that's not this. So this weekend I was at the National Student Role-Playing and Wargaming Convention, which is a thing that happens once a year, where a whole bunch of university societies and university-affiliated societies and occasionally just random independent nerds will show up and compete against one another in things like Warhammer and Dungeons and Dragons and Blood Bowl and Pathfinder and World of Darkness and other, like, a whole bunch of various tabletop stuff. There's board games and card games as well, like Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh and etc. etc. But it's basically just an enormous collection of nerdy students and nerdy former students that hang around in a random city for a weekend and make each other laugh and have fun. So that's where I've been. And I recorded a couple of bits and pieces while I was there, so I'm going to play those for you now. What's up guys, my name's Connor, aka MrBowlerHat, and this is my vlog about the Nationals, which I've been told I should probably do. So, for those of you that don't know where I've been this last weekend, I am currently in Bradford. Why am I in Bradford? I'm in Bradford because this is the location of the 2018 National Student Role-Playing and Wargaming National... I don't know exactly what it's called, but this is the place where all the nerds are at the moment. What this basically means is, I'm giving you kind of like background tour of the hotel room I'm in, like how necessary, like, I'm one guy, how many bed space does one guy need? Not this much. So basically, I'm here because I'm a massive Dungeons & Dragons nerd and assorted tabletop role-playing stuff. So I'm here in Bradford to do that, competitively, against other people, and with other people, and hopefully take home the gold for Sheffield University's D&D group, D&D Society, which is called NodSoc. Hence the podcast that I link in a couple of my other videos. I'm in the humour category, which I don't know exactly what that's going to entail yet. This is my first time at the Nationals. So I'm really excited, and I will keep you guys updated with what I'm doing. Currently, I'm just dossing about a Premier Inn doing fuck all. So I'll catch up to you guys in a bit. So as you can probably tell by the state of my hair, I'm back from the first evening. It was really good. I went out to see a show called The Dark Room. If you ever get a chance to go and see it, I fully recommend it. It's done by an Australian comedian called, I think his name is John Robertson. And it's such a good time. It's an audience participation type thing where the concept is you awaken to find yourself in a dark room. It's this whole like interactive experience, and I fully 100% recommend it. Part of the show is a big amount of audience participation, and I got picked to sort of join in on one of the things, and every time he picks a guy, he calls them Darren, and the name he gave me was Jay and Silent Darren because of the hat, and then after a couple of rounds of things, he changed my name to Depression Darren, because I picked a couple of quite depressing answers. And honestly, it was a fantastic time. I bought the guy a drink, had a couple of rum and oranges myself, and it's just been absolutely fantastic. And tomorrow, I'm really, really looking forward to playing in some games. I was a little bit sort of shaky, nervous, and unsure because it's my first time coming to something like this, and now I'm really, really looking forward to it. So I'll update you guys in the morning, because it's 20 to 2 in the morning right now. And I'm trying to keep a little bit quiet because I'm still in a Premier Inn and I don't want to disturb the people either side of me. So I will update you. I'll probably have another update maybe tomorrow afternoon. But I really need to get some sleep. So one more thing I forgot to mention: as part of the show, everyone who participates gets a prize, and I got given this book. Which the guy actually came up to me after the show, and he said it's not a joke prize. It's genuinely a book he recommends that I read. So I'm gonna read that, and maybe in a future vlog I'll let you guys know how it was. I also bought a T-shirt, which I will stick a thing on possibly this side of me that shows you the T-shirt and what it says on it. And I'll probably explain that at some point. Well, I'll explain it now because it's there. Basically, as part of the show, there is a pineapple on the stage, and the guy refers to it as a flamboyant potato, which I think is fantastic, and also is my new favourite descriptor of myself. So now I'm actually going to bed. So thank you guys. I'll update you in the morning. So I'm back, and as you can probably guess, it's not daytime. I didn't get a chance to update during the day, because it's been that busy. I got up really early, had some breakfast downstairs, and headed over for the opening ceremony at 9, and then we were sort of in the rooms and starting our games by 10 o'clock. The game I was in was actually really, really interesting to play in. It was a translation of a German system that I can't remember the name of now, but there were 4 of us playing as plush toys brought to life. And the character I was playing was Gordon the Owl, who for some reason was inexplicably Australian. And like the concept of the plot that we were given was that we wake up in a bag in a cupboard. And through some convoluted reason, we found out that we were in a bag in a storage cupboard in the White House in the 1990s. And through a long and ridiculous series of events, it got real stabby real quick. Like, plush toys are terrifying. What we were expecting was some sort of something like Toy Story, and what we ended up with was like Five Nights at fucking Freddy's or Tattletale or something. It was like horror games like that, if you've ever seen any of those. Possibly like Chucky or something like that, because we were literally just animated toys murdering our way around Washington, D.C. We burned down the White House, killed Bill Clinton, traumatized a bunch of people, sent someone to the hospital, and ended up living with a stoner called Jeff because we tried to kill a mall Santa for kidnapping plush toys. The logic made sense at the time, and it was just a ridiculous amount of fun. I met some great people, and I just had a good time. But after the games were finished, we went to the pub. We did a pub quiz, which was incredibly hard. There were some questions, like one of the questions in the history round, which I think we got 1 point on, was, what was it now? It was when and where was the key invented? It was Bronze Age Egypt, and I had absolutely who knows that information off the top of their head. But we lost the quiz by about 10 points in the end. But I've pretty much had a really, really good day, so it's been fun. I'm going to try and update you guys again tomorrow. But for now, because it is quite late again, I'm going to head to bed. So, yeah, update number 3 or 4 coming now. There never was an update 3 or 4. What happened was I went straight from the hotel on Sunday to my game. I went straight from my game to the closing ceremony. And I went straight from the closing ceremony to the train station. And then I went home, and it was like 10:30, 11:15 by the time I got back, and I just basically went straight to bed because I was exhausted. But yeah, now that I'm not on a shaky phone camera, I'm gonna go a little bit more in depth about some of the stuff that I did. The Dark Room with John Robertson. At the end of it, I'm gonna chuck a link. One of the many links that will be chucked down below is a link to the project that John Robertson is working on at the moment, which is a dark room game, which I am going to be doing a Let's Play of on this channel when it's out. And I fully recommend checking that out, and I recommend checking out John Robertson's stuff. And if you ever do get the chance to go see the Dark Room, do it. It's fucking brilliant. My day one game with the plush toys was some of the best fun I've had role playing in a long time, because there's no possible way for you to take that seriously. Like, we ended up basically burning down an enormous government institution, causing nationwide chaos, made an endless string of penis jokes about the Secret Service agent we'd kidnapped because his last name was Johnson. Such spectacular lines as, "Has this lady seen our Johnson yet?" And right, we're all going to ride the Johnson. We referred to him as the Johnson because that's the, we're plush toys, that's the way we refer to humans. The stoner we ended up living with at the end, he was the Jeff, and anyone who insulted the Jeff would die horribly because the Jeff was our friend. There's zero possible way that you could take that seriously. My day two game, the concept of that was if you've seen Disney's Aladdin, this explanation is going to go very, very smoothly, and you go, oh yeah, that makes sense. If you've never seen it, point one, why? It's a classic and probably like one of the greatest films ever made, and Robin Williams is fantastic. Go watch it right now. Pause this video, go watch Disney's Aladdin and come back. Point two, you might not get what I'm talking about, so that's why you should go watch it. Basically, Genie grants wishes, but Genie runs more than one lamp. So he subcontracts teams by enslaving them to the lamp that they're in. So we were a bunch of people who were enslaved to a lamp through convoluted means that we worked out during the session by interacting with each other and talking to each other. I was playing a humanoid chameleon. I don't mean a person who can turn invisible and camouflage themselves. I mean literally a chameleon, but on two legs and wearing a West Ham football shirt. Because why not? I put on a god-awful Cockney accent for the duration of the video. The duration of the game. It was just a great fun. We managed to successfully grant 2 entire wishes in 6 hours. We managed to eventually acquire a date for a 14-year-old girl with either Prince Harry or Harry Styles. It wasn't super specific, so we just grabbed both of them in a thing that was totally not kidnapping. And our second wish was we granted Prince Harry's wish to know whether or not the lamp really grants wishes. We enslaved him to the lamp. Then he knew. Wish granted. Be careful what you wish for. There was a moral lesson in there somewhere, at least we pretended there was, after we knocked down Westminster Abbey with elephants. And possibly smashed up part of a small village. And stolen things from museums. We had very good reason for doing what we were doing. But I spent the whole time being sarcastic. I was talking to the ghost of King Henry VIII, because of course I was. And I mentioned that he was terrible with women, and Henry VIII went, "Hey, beheading was acceptable in 1600s." And I was like, "Yeah, and curtains were acceptable in the 90s, but you don't see anyone rocking those anymore." And I can't remember exactly the context, but somebody said something like, "Well, it's right to me," and I'm like, "Yeah, it's correct in much the same way that Passengers with Jennifer Lawrence and Chris Pratt was a movie. It's technically correct, but you won't find many people arguing in support of it." So if you don't find those funny, then you clearly disagree with the people that were there, because I got second in my category. Basically how the Nationals works is you play competitively for 2 different games, and the GMs and the players in those games score you based on, whether they play with you again, if you were funny, if you joined in, if you didn't hog the spotlight, this, that, the other. Like a whole bunch of different criteria. And I got second place in my category of about 14, 15 people or so. And honestly, it actually blew me away, because it's my first time going to the Nationals, and Humor wasn't my first choice of category, and I didn't expect to win because, honestly, I don't think I'm that funny. I think I'm just loud and a little bit obnoxious. But apparently other people do actually think I'm funny, so... you know, go me, I guess. So yeah, I came second in my category. A couple of other people from the team that we went with also won. There's a guy called Spike, got first in his category. One of the War Gamers won something. I think it was in the Warhammer category. And we came away in 7th place overall. The winners were the the two universities in Manchester. There's University of Manchester, Manchester Met, and they share a society, from what I understand. And once you've left the university, you go into a group. Their group's called Vague, so they have the Vague Vets. So once you've graduated the university, you move from Vague into the Vets. Radioactive Sumo, Liam, the guy I've played a couple games with on the channel, he's in Vague. So Vague Vets it's absolutely enormous. There's like 30, 40 people in that turned up. And they won, but obviously because they're not the official university society, they don't get a say about whether or not they can host. So because the winners usually host, they passed it off to 2nd place, who were the Hussars. I don't know what university they were affiliated with. I should have done, because like, one of the people in my game was with the Hussars, but I forgot to ask. But they also couldn't host for one reason or another, so they passed it off to Edinburgh, who were in 3rd. And Edinburgh basically went, hang on, we don't know if we can host either, let us phone Scotland. So they phoned back to Edinburgh and asked their committee, and their committee were like, kinda. So Edinburgh came back and went, okay, we can host, kind of. We will be the official hosts, but it will be on Glasgow University's campus. So next year we're going to Glasgow, so keep an eye out for keep an eye out for Nationals Vlog 2, where I might get stabbed because it's Glasgow. I mean, you think I'm exaggerating, but the pub quiz, Glasgow's Uni Society team was called Stab Capital of the World. That was their pub quiz team name. So yeah, you know, Glasgow's a bit stabby. Down in the description, there's going to be a couple of links. The first link is going to be, you know, the usual place where there's the place where I get my music from. The second link is going to be to John Robertson's The Darkroom game. Third link, the GM I had on day 2, she's a genuinely lovely person, and she's part of a business that makes and sells concept cards for tabletop role-playing type stuff. If you don't know what a concept card is, basically it is a card that has an idea on it. And you can pull a couple of cards and it'll give you an idea for a little bit of a story. You can pull like 1 or 2, it'll give you the idea for a character, or a setting or something like that. And it's a really, really useful storytelling tool, even if you don't use it for like D&D or anything like that. No, phone, bad. But basically that's going to be the second link. The second link is going to go to their little business where you can, you know, get some of their concept cards, back the Kickstarter, because they're great people, and honestly, I want to support good people in doing good things, and that's what they're doing. Link after that is going to be a link to the Nodsock YouTube page channel thing, where you can view all the previous episodes of the Nodcast that I've been in. So if you want to learn more about, you know, tabletop RP and the stuff that I've done in stuff like D&D and that sort of thing, click that, head over to the podcast, give it a watch. But I think that's all I've really got to say about the Nationals. So that has been a vlog. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, leave a like down below. Drop a comment telling me what you thought of this vlog. If you've got any questions about stuff, or if you've got any suggestions for what you want to see me do in the future. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more from me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.